As mentioned in a previous video, to truly maximize our savings, we will need to control our expenses, and that the first step in doing so is to budget our expenses. Budgeting simply means planning at the beginning how we spend our money. By planning how our money will be spent, we will be able to know our expenses in advance and how much money we will have at the end to save. It must be kept in mind that budgeting is nothing more than a plan. Plans on its own will go nowhere. We must execute it and follow it as tightly as practicable. I use the term as tightly as practicable because there is a need for flexibility when executing your budget. In other words, to cater for emergencies. Nonetheless, should there be no emergencies, we must be consistent in following our budget. So, how do we budget? At a very general level, it is very simple. Determine how much money you have, list down all of your expenses for the next relevant period, and make sure that the sum of the expenses does not exceed the amount of money that you have. However, the devil is in the details. At the specific level, there is no single correct way of preparing a budget. It depends on what approach you are comfortable following. Still, here is an example. Let's start with the amount of money that you have to spend. Let's say that you have 3 bank accounts, one for daily use, one for savings, and one for emergencies. You don't really want to touch 2 of those accounts, so you remove them from consideration, leaving only the bank account you have for daily use. The next step is to decide the period of your budget. Is it a weekly budget or is it a monthly budget? For this example, we'll make it a monthly budget. Let's list our expenses. Again, there are multiple ways this can be done. Make sure you choose the method that you are comfortable with. For this example, we'll divide our expenses into 2 categories. Let's label these 2 categories as regular payments and discretionary payments. List down those specific expenses together with the amount. If you want, you can also state the date of the payment. Then, calculate. Look at the amount of money left over. If you have a surplus, then that's good news. That surplus will be your savings. You will be using it to make your money grow. However, if you are in a deficit, then you are in trouble because you don't have enough money available. If this happens, go back to your list of expenses and remove some that you can live without or reduce the cost. If you think that the surplus is too little and you want more, review your list of expenses and remove some that are not really necessary. Remember, this is just one example of how to budget. You can tweak this approach into a method that you are comfortable with and is easy for you to follow. You can simplify it or add more features to it. To make budgeting simpler, you don't have to do it manually. There are apps available, some for free, that you can download and use. By planning how we spend our money, we will be able to control our spending and have more money to save.